How's everything going, guys? Hope you guys have been enjoying the series so far. If you guys have, you guys know what to do. Smash that like button. If you haven't already, consider subscribing because it really helps out the channel, and it's free. And if you haven't already, leave a question, comment, or concern down below. And with that, let's get into today's episode. So, welcome back to some more Dyson. We're getting really close. Now that we've pretty much finished off getting green science going, there's just really some housekeeping things left, I think at this point for us. Some of those housekeeping things are finishing scaling up oil is a big one, finish scaling up deuterium production, and then lastly, more or less stabilizing our energy. But in order to do some of that, we also are going to need more hydrogen, because only half of our hydrogen we need is going to come from the oil production, but the other half has to come from the gas giant. But in order to make the gas giant extractors, we need batteries. So we need to figure out a way to get them. So one of the things I was looking at is we could use the energy exchanger, but it doesn't seem very fast or efficient. Like, it's one at a time, which maybe is faster than trying to charge a field of them. But the more I thought of it, I was like, okay, well, what's faster, a planet full of batteries or one energy exchanger? And I suppose you could argue, but you could have more than one energy exchanger, and of course that would offset your equation. But kind of what I was thinking, I was like, look, I'd rather just have all these charging and not have to worry about stack sizes or like any of that. Sure, it looks kind of dumb and it probably is a little more performance intensive, but it's temporary. But anyway, so I was like, okay, let's just go ahead and place a bunch of these down. It looks really cool. However, as you can see, not very many take up a large area. So definitely, I probably wouldn't have these placed on a planet. I would definitely use the energy exchangers in lieu of having them physically placed somewhere. You also, I think, get a little bit more performance out of them just because when they're not placed down, instead they're played as, or rather they're calculated as an item being exchanged for data, not actual power source. Now, this is where you start to notice we're getting brownouts, not total blackouts, because the power is technically somewhat being produced. The wind turbines are only helping very, very minutely. Almost not at all, but technically there is still some power, so that's why it's more of a brownout and less of a blackout. But the factory is having rolling brown slash blackouts. This is just one of those such instances. And part of the reason is I was thinking, oh, well, it's because the robots aren't transporting the things, the reactor rods, to where they need to go. But then I was like, no, they're correctly doing it. But then once I looked into it a little bit more, I noticed, oh, actually, it's because we don't have robots in the correct area for them to take the reactor rods from storage to the reactors, because previously we had the robots in the facility where they were being produced. Right now, that just is not the particular case. So notice 0 out of 0 robots, but then once we put robots into this, they should function just fine. So that's why we kind of are just more or less, we're waiting to get things made, and I'm like, okay, well, let's just head up here, let's get a little bit of energy produced in our nice large kind of arc reactor vibe. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting when I built that up there at the hemisphere, or I guess the pole. I'm like, wow, this kind of looks pretty cool. We do need to add some more reactors, of course, but that will have to come at a little bit of a later time, just because right now our goal is just to make sure that the factory doesn't run out of energy, which does sound a little bit counterintuitive, but right now I just need to make sure that the energy, like the fuel, can get to the reactors, because right now the fuel is not getting to the reactors properly. So we do have to queue a few things up for that, and then we also have to look at getting the things queued up that we're going to need for the gas extractors. We're also going to have to clean out our inventory and finish cleaning up a couple of the other machines' inventories, just so that way we know we have enough. Also, one of the goals of mine this episode is to try to get the Dyson Sphere getting produced again. And so that all that involves is us shipping the solar sails off planet and getting the rockets made for the actual structure. Now, we didn't account for additional solar sails in our calculations. We only are making enough for the structure. However, I figure, you know what? I'm okay if the structure slows down a bit in terms of production. But of course, I will see what we can do in terms of just scaling up solar sail production, so that way we can, of course, get enough to hopefully fill in most of the Dyson Sphere without really limiting our expansion of it, right? Just so that way we can make sure that we can continue safely expanding it without getting too much hampered on. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out where can we put the rocket production, because my initial thought was, oh, we'll just put it where the things are. But then I was looking and I was like, no, there's not really a good spot to do there. I was also just kind of looking around to see what we could tidy up, mainly because, well, the power's out, can't really do a whole lot, other than just more or less wait. But notice now that we have those drones in, we're starting to ship the fuel over. And of course, now that the reactor is getting fuel, notice it's slowly turning on, one reactor at a time. It's just one of those little mesmerizing things, and it's like, okay, another reactor turns on, and of course you can see the power spike right here, where it's like, wow, just the reactor is quickly turning on, and of course the batteries are actually going to start charging instead of discharging their energy into the grid, which is really good. Now that we have that hooked back up, we can go ahead and start kind of looking back at, okay, how can we get the hydrogen scaled up we need to scale, and also how can we get solar sails / the rockets for the Dyson Sphere not only constructed, well, we're already getting the solar sails constructed, but how can we get the three components combined for the rockets, but also get things put together for the get the solar sails shipped off to the one planet so that they may be launched into orbit. Quick note before we proceed. At some point there was a time skip in the recording. I don't know when, because while I was recording this clip initially, at some point I hit the pause. I don't know how I did that, because the button wasn't on my mouse, and it was a button that I don't press normally, so I don't know how it was pressed. But so at some point you're going to see a little bit of a time skip. I don't know when it is, because I didn't mark it down, because when I noticed it at the initial time of recording, I was a little bit furious, so I forgot to take note of, okay, this is when it is, and I can't really scrub for it because there's no indicator of it, unfortunately. So yeah, whenever that, I think it should be soon, so whenever that happens, it's just gonna happen. I don't think it's already happened, unless it has and I'm just blind, but because I'm watching this effectively at the same time you guys are and commentating over it. In case you guys are new to the series or new to this channel, definitely go check out some of the other episodes of things, other series. We've done Factorio, modded, Angels, Bobs, mods, plus kind of into the deep end sorts of things. We've done a 7 Days to Die series. We have a technically an incomplete RimWorld series, but I've also been we have an ongoing RimWorld series. Pretty much follows the same premise. However, it is definitely a lot more geared towards beginners. No mods, all DLC, all the fun things. That's been posting 2 times a week right now. And then we also have another Minecraft, well, no, not another Minecraft, but we have a Minecraft series out right now. FTB Infinity Evolved Expert Mode is currently ongoing as well. That we're getting close to on that one in terms of wrapping up. We'll probably wrap that series up within the next couple of weeks, hopefully by the end of the year. And then we'll probably start another single player Minecraft series on, I think the mod pack I picked was Dungeons, Dragons, and Space Shuttles. It's a lot more heavy in the questing department, which is something I like. And then I will be doing a FTB Infinity Evolved multiplayer campaign with a couple of my friends. However, that will not be expert mode just because they have not played modded Minecraft as extensively as I have. So instead of throwing them into the deep end like I have with Factorio, they have pestered me, is a nice way to put it. Actually, pestered isn't the word I want, but it's the word that I thought of. Into only giving them kind of an easier modded experience versus throwing them way into the deep end, because I did that with Factorio for them, and so they think vanilla they don't know what's vanilla in terms of Factorio. So I kind of screwed them there, but so they made me promise not to do that to them in Minecraft, so that's of course what we're going to do there. Does look like we have definitely not enough oil. Like, I mean, I know we don't have enough oil. We're going to have to get more of that. Honestly, there's just so many, like, little quirks that I was like, wow, we have green science now. And you can kind of see that science is slowly ticking away in the top left. However, there are certain things that science is still waiting on, and some of those things are oil related just because we don't have enough to supply everything. So kind of everything is only getting less than 25. I don't even think we have 25% of what we need. I think we need 240, 280 oil wells to be self-sufficient, like at their lowest, I believe, output. Otherwise, we just need, or maybe it's 280 per second we need. I can't remember what it was, but it's a lot of oil that we need per second. So in terms of how much we actually need to mine and have in transit at all times, is probably closer to 300 or even 350 oil wells. Just so that way, even at 1 oil a second, that's 350 oil a second, which is over what we need. But remember, we need travel time accounted for, so we need to make sure that we have enough kind of a buffer. I also am pretty sure we should be able to fit all the hydrogen extractors on this planet that we'll need. But we do, however, have to make sure that they're spaced out properly, just because the planet does have... It only lets us build these at the equator, and it only lets us build them so close. As you can see, it looks like a total of 10 tiles or 10 of those little squares apart. And this is just me counting and going through. I believe we have 22 currently, and we need... Or we have 30, we need another 22 additional. For a total of 52. And then from there, what we can establish is hopefully enough hydrogen. But again, this is only half of the hydrogen we need. The other half of the hydrogen we get is from the oil refinement process. So this will help get more deuterium. It will also help with a couple other things that we need hydrogen for. But the primary thing is deuterium. That, I believe, is what we need most of this hydrogen for. Of course, I don't have those notes pulled up in front of me of what we need all the hydrogen for, but I'm pretty sure that's what most of it's going towards, from what I remember. A couple of the other things we also need to go through, and you can probably already see this just from our inventory, we need more blue belts. As always, we literally need blue belts every single episode without fail. I always need more. I'm always running out, always need more. And like I say, every episode, we're going to make sure that they're automated next series. Pretty much all the infrastructure is going to be automated. From power poles to assemblers to storage units to pretty much, if I need it for something, it is being automated. Now, the things that probably won't automate, just because I don't think I need them to be automated, would probably be things like the advanced miners or even just the regular miners. I probably also won't automate railguns, and I probably also won't automate just the little things like that. But the other things I'll automate will probably be the transport hubs, the robots, probably even wind turbines for early game. I'll probably automate those, even though they do get outclassed and kind of replaced in the mid game. I like having them as just a little bit of power if I need it for like an outpost. And I don't want to set up a reactor and then set up robots to transport all of it. There was supposed to be a time cut. Now I'm starting to think there wasn't a time cut, or there already has been and I just haven't noticed it. Because I could have sworn there was one. If there was one and I just didn't notice it yet, leave that down below, that I have 0 observation skills. If there hasn't been one yet and I'm crazy, but I'm pretty sure there was one, or maybe I paused it and just instantly unpaused it, is what happened. But I have no idea. My power of observation skills right now, while we're recording this and then recording the actual clip, were basically 0. Because I spent 2 pass-throughs looking for it, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, oh, maybe there wasn't one. But then the more I thought of it, I'm like, no, I distinctly remember having paused, and it was only like 30 minutes of recording. Which, technically this video is only 20 minutes long, but the actual clip was an hour long, which means the time skip would have already have happened. It should have happened at like the 10-minute mark or so. That's what I'm thinking, because I believe it was paused at 30 minutes when I was playing. Because I played for a little bit longer. I honestly have no idea. Because I know the clip total was an hour. And then but I ended up playing for like an hour and a half because I had to make up an extra 30 minutes because of it. I was a little bit angry because it cut into some of my recording time for other things, but my goal this week is to make sure everything's caught up and recorded, just because like actually it wasn't in this episode, it was in the Minecraft episode that I just recorded, was I've recently had a lot of projects because it's getting closer to Thanksgiving, and so there's been a lot of projects I've been having and a lot of just other miscellaneous things we've been having to work with, such as projects, midterms, work's been really busy, and then I've been having a couple trips that have also made trying to schedule getting things recorded and rendered and edited kind of a pain in the butt, but we're getting through all of it. Is this the time skip? Or am I just standing still? I think I was just standing still. I feel like this is a game of where's Waldo? Where's the time skip? It's somewhere. I just don't know where. Oh, I know why I was standing still, and we're actually about to see it. The reason I was standing still was because I realized while I was looking at my spreadsheet for how many machines I needed for a thing, I don't know why I thought I only needed 16 of these machines to make fuel rods. I'm like, wow, that's a really low amount. That's crazy to power the whole factory and use them for production. Well, I looked at it again. I don't know what number I looked at initially, because it's 52, I think, or some large amount. Here, do I actually... Let's see, I could probably find it. Yeah, it's here. Let's see. I need 64 reactor machines. I initially made like 16 or something. Like, why? Oh, I know why I said I only needed 16, because I looked at how many magnets I needed. I only need 16 magnet machines. Or 16 of the magnet machines are only going to this directly. However, we do need 266.7 deuterium factorization machines for these. Yeah, so we need 64, but I didn't space it out for 64, so I just made a very janky connection like this. It works, but we do have to make sure we get enough hydrogen for this, because if we ended up needing 3 belts worth, or 2.7, but I always round it up to whatever the next number is, because even if it's 2.1, we still need 3 belts worth, just because of throughput. Now, yeah, I guess we could multiply 2.1 times however much per second the belt carries, just so that way we can get the full amount that we need, but of course I just like to have overkill so that we don't have to worry about it. And then it will of course just back up even at 3, so we'll be fine. Anyway, but yeah, so we've been kind of busy with things, and that's why some weeks there's only like RimWorld, or some weeks it's RimWorld and then Dyson and no Minecraft, or just Dyson and RimWorld, or, you know, those combinations of things. Or like Minecraft and RimWorld and then no Dyson. That's why Minecraft and Dyson have kind of been flip-flopping. But this week is getting back to a little bit normal. I've had all my projects finished. Well, all the big projects that I've been working on that were due last week. 'Cause last week was weird. I had a bunch due, like all in the same week. And then I had like 3 tests I had to study for. But now we're starting to kind of wind down, and I kind of have a little bit of a break week. I mean, I still have tons of things to work on. I still have a test for Thursday. And then I have a project that is due in about 3 weeks, and I've been slowly chipping away at. And then I have another project due Sunday. So, like, I still have things to do, but they're less busy and labor intensive because I know how to do all of the things. So there's not a whole lot of me spending time trying to just figure it out how to do it, which is part of the problem. Is I had 2 projects where I had no idea what I was doing, so I had to really consult documentation and just spend like 3 days instead of developing software actually look at what the documentation was, which took forever because it was not fun. In case anybody was wondering, the project was in Ada, which I hate that language. It's elegant, and I like the way it gives you feedback on errors, but it is such a pain. Alright, well, with all of that out of the way and my kind of rant there at the end, but hope you guys have been enjoying. If you guys have, you guys know what to do. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Consider subscribing as it really helps out the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns for me, leave those down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one, and peace out. Also, there was an updated version of our Dyson. It's going again. Alright, bye-bye.